July, covering all things professional wrestling. A show by members of the Busted Open Nation. Welcome to the Nation's Corner. Here are your hosts, the Nation's Corner crew.
Good evening, Nation's Corner family, friends, and fans. That's right, it is 7 p.m. We are all the way live. John in South Jersey here, along with my extra on the skeleton crew in more ways than one tonight, Mongrovi and Mike. What's up, brother?
What's up, dude? The skeleton crew is here.
Yeah, and like I said,
we're
more
looking
ways
pretty
than one.
skeletal.
Yes, we are. Couple quick housekeeping things before we get going on the show and all tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat. I'm seeing Guitar Red. I'm seeing Ezra, John Bay, few others. But dude, we are literally everywhere tonight. I myself, Nation's Corner on location. Thanks, Deb, is getting overtime work this weekend. I was out earlier today, right around the corner, literally from me at the world famous Monster Factory, enjoying the Bell, Missy Sampson's all-female promotion, putting on their show, Ding Dong, and had to run home afterwards to get ready for the show. Shout out to David Hoover, Nation's Corner contributor at times. He's over at the 2300 Arena in Philadelphia for the NWA Crockett Cup show tonight. And reason why it's only me and Mike tonight is Deb Housen, Too Sweet Neil, Chad from Albany, Seth, and possibly some other notable people are, as Mongrovian just showed you, they are at Adrenaline Championship Wrestling in Poughkeepsie, the MJN Center, which is formerly the Mid-Hudson Civic Center, very famous wrestling venue. And besides the fantastic show that they have tonight, they are inducting, and rightfully so, and it should be in other ones already, but one Thomas Laughlin, or as you may know him, the innovator of violence, the landlord of the House of Hardcore, and the heart and soul of professional wrestling, Tommy Dreamer, is getting his flowers and getting inducted.
Bravo. And that better not be the first or last Hall of Fame. We love Tom. We rag on him with his team fandom, like with his Go Team shit, the fraud shit.
Oh, but
when it comes to wrestling, and when it comes to having a mind for wrestling and telling a story, and when it comes to being someone who is on the forefront and on the ground, with Paul Heyman and the rest of the ECW crew, the ECW originals, people don't, some younger people may roll their eyes, but they don't understand, and they could GFY if they don't. If they don't want to learn about it, they could GFY. But if they want to learn about it, you should learn about it. Don't go to Peacock where Paul Ehrlich fucked the whole.
Fuck you, Paul. Fuck you, Paul. Fuck you, Paul.
Search it out, and get the real music where you could see Sandman coming out to enter Sandman. You could see, search out where you could see real Dudley Boy promos that caused actual riots.
Not near riot inciting.
Search
absolute
out
riot,
see
riot
this guy
inciting.
This guy right here. Taking asses and feet and whatever other body parts of these
and
wrestlers,
every minute of it.
Mostly Spike Dudley, but if
I could remember half the things I've seen there, or with that organization.
I know, John, and it's a bittersweet week, because while we have the one very beautiful thing happening with Tommy Dreamer, we have a very sad thing that happened to the other ECW original this week. The great Sabu I cannot tell you, John. I know I don't have to tell you because you lived it. You saw it with your own two eyes before there was such thing as cell phones in your face. Like you actually witnessed shit and then had to wait to find it on video later if you were able. Yeah. But Sabu, when I saw this guy, he didn't just use a chair or a table. He invented the table. The table gimmick, whatever you want to call it. And I'm not talking about the Rock and Roll Express gimmick table, out in the hallway selling shit. I'm talking about the tables going through.
Yeah.
And just the inventive ways and when you find out other little stories like the way he fucked with the smart ass fans, that would chant, you fucked up, and he would just go to the guy. He's just, I did that on purpose for them.
Yeah.
So you were always getting worked with that man. Every scar you saw on that man's body was real. Joey Janela and GCW did not kill Sabu.
No.
Sabu would have wanted to die in the middle of the ring, not surprisingly outside probably, because he loved the business and everybody loved him. So rest in peace, Sabu. Rest in peace. Very much so. Yeah, we can't say any much more than that's been said all week. We saw Taz breaking down on live TV. We heard Sandman in the beginning of the week on Busted Open. We heard Bully say that was the first time he ever even knew of Sandman crying, shedding a tear for anything.
Yeah.
So, what else can be said? But you will be remembered, Sabu.
Always. We will always have memories, and even though the audio has been scrubbed, we will always have YouTube and Peacock for the memories and the video to watch. But let's move forward to this week in pro wrestling. Another absolutely jammed week that, we constantly sit here, folks, and say, like, man, what are we going to talk about? What aren't we going to talk about? And trying to fit it all in. Were we even
able to see everything this week?
Exactly. You have so much going on across all wrestling right now. But I would like to start off with the most recent, obviously, SmackDown last night, because we have a name. Somebody that had a name has a name. I don't know if I like it. That's not Mateo. I don't know who Mateo is. I fucking know who Jeff Cobb is, and that's who the man I see on my screen is.
When he surprised everyone, didn't Michael Cole say that's Jeff Cobb?
Yes.
So we already know it's Jeff Cobb.
And I get it. I heard a couple different arguments, this and that. It's almost like Ricky Starks, Ricky Saints.
Ricky Saints made sense. So we have to hear Jeff explain the Mateo, because I believe they gave him the choice. They said, "Can you come up with something?" Because JC, I was cool with JC even, right? Because we can all infer Jeff Cobb, and we don't have to actually. And then Michael Cole doesn't have to actually say Jeff Cobb. So we would all be happy, but it's not up there in the lines of Butch,
right?
It's not a Butch kind of thing, or it's not. It's definitely nowhere near Max Dupree,
right.
So we got that going for us, which is nice.
And for God's sake, WWE, I know you listen to us. You not have Jeff Cobb wrestling in slacks and a shirt and shoes.
Yes.
Put that man back in his singlet and let him be the badass that has been wrecking shop.
Is it still the Tour of the Islands, his finisher move?
Yes, they still call it the Tour of the Islands.
Okay,
But that's
all we need, his finisher move. Get that patented and whatever. Yes. But let's just say I'm very happy that we're seeing Jeff Cobb, or whatever the fuck WWE wants to call him. He's Jeff Cobb to me.
Right.
I know that's all we're gonna say.
Right.
And,
but this is a guy that has been absolutely wrecking shop in New Japan and other promotions around the world for quite a long time.
Low key, very dominant in New Japan.
Yes, and of course, Crown's up. A member of the United Empire. Oh, yep. That group that Will Ospreay ran. So it's not like he's just some dude who came along. The guy's legit and legit skills. The man's a human fire hydrant, for Christ's sake. That is a big, thick man that throws people all over the ring. And I'm very glad to see him have this opportunity, because it brings an interesting thing now. Dude, and Mark Henry kind of discussed it with Denise on Busted Open today, just real briefly. The Bloodline's a shamble right now. Bloodline got problems. Bloodline got big problems. Who's running it? The quote unquote head of the table is missing. You have Solo trying to reclaim what was once his, I guess. Jacob Fatu saying, hell nah, we ain't doing it like that. Know what I mean? And now, all gas, no brakes, which, dude, the best thing they did is give Jacob Fatu a microphone. God damn, that man is so good.
John, we know we could go back right on this very show to me friggin' talking up Jacob Fatu, putting out vignettes after he lost the MLW Heavyweight Championship, and he was gone for a while. And he came back, starting cutting these fucking fire promos where he was just back in the street and talking like he talks. Just
and that's how he is. I mean, obviously, it's a little
and when someone we know it, right, John?
Yeah, but
when a wrestler takes at least 50% of him real, to that ring and to that microphone, you got us. Yeah, you got us.
And I just want to point this out. Thank you, Ezra, our New Japan expert. That's all
there you go.
Of Jeff Cobb's accomplishments. So just take a look at that for a second here in the chat.
That's very impressive. Leave that up for a minute, man. That guy fucking,
But also on SmackDown last night, we have the qualifiers, or starting for the qualifiers for Money in the Bank, which the men's side, the men's match last night was, to me, very interesting, because you had legitimately three guys that you could say, okay, they should be in Money in the Bank. And, and honestly, same through with the women. Now, I could go, all right, it was Chelsea, and Alexa Bliss and Meechin. And I could almost make a case for any one of those three to be in as well. And I really thought at the very end that Chelsea was going to steal one again and get the money in the bank again, although to be thwarted by a slightly quicker Alexa Bliss. And, now we're off to the races. But
I don't like that.
You don't like it?
No, I don't like it at all. Because right off the bat, when you talk about Money in the Bank, as soon as I hear Chelsea Green's name and she has no title around her waist, you can, when you put that briefcase in Chelsea Green's hand, can you tell me any other woman on that roster that is gonna fucking make that thing matter? She will make that thing matter like R-Truth made the 24/7 championship matter.
I agree. I absolutely agree. But however,
I understand.
She's not in the match yet.
Still
got a way to go. There could be a way that she finds her way in, and then that it's on. But other thing I found,
you know what too. We always give her the flowers and everything for her comedic timing and her facials and her her acting. She is a damn great wrestler.
Yes.
Lest anybody forget the finisher move she put Meechin to win that title in the first place.
Yes. You know,
So I mean, and that was with Meechin.
Yeah.
You know,
someone else who
Meechin
can
is
go.
not going to let anybody eat her lunch.
Yeah. I mean, and you're right. Especially when it comes to Chelsea, you don't really understand or appreciate how good in the ring she is.
And she puts up with Cardona.
Well, that's...
Yeah, I mean, Cardona takes the shine for all of her accomplishments. He's like, hey, I'm always ready. Hey, my wife's the champ. That makes me half the champ.
Right.
My wife's
one half of the Women's United States champion for a while.
Yeah. Come on.
But, again...
He's got to rub it in our faces that I went from having the posters of the Divas on my wall to sleeping next to one. Oh, yeah.
Right.
What a heel.
Hey, he wins. He wins.
Hey, listen, tip it. You got to tip your hat, man.
Yes.
You know what?
Coming off of that match, we had a very curious backstage with Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. And they touched on a little bit of the history and all that they came from. And you have Charlotte absolutely taking the heel role against Alexa, which everybody is happy to see her back. I'm happy to see her back. I miss my 5 Feet of Fury. But
this is what the evil fan in me says. This is how the vignette probably went. Charlotte going, I'm going to politic to get myself shoved down everyone's throat. No, I'm going to politic to get myself shoved down everyone's throat. No, I'm going to politic. No, I'm going to politic.
But
no, go ahead.
But that might have worked out that way.
Comes in and breaks up the whole thing and goes, I'm no selling to both of your asses. I'm politicking to both of you out. Go.
Well, no, but here all of a sudden, during that, and you're right to think that, Nick Aldis's door opens up, and who walks out? Julia. Oh, and Nick Aldis is there saying, oh, girls, meet the newest member of the SmackDown roster. Yeah. Wait, what?
Not only that, ladies, meet the woman that everybody in the universe, in WWE universe and out of it, wants the rocket strapped to.
Yes. So
they were even pissed off when she lost the title to Stephanie, and they love Stephanie.
Yes. So and
Neil was beside
really,
yes.
Sorry. And this really kind of, bucks the whole system that WWE has established, especially with NXT. You see talent in NXT. Their main, they get a bit of a run and a build and stuff in NXT. And then you can kind of see at a certain point, okay, they're getting them ready to go to the main roster. Julia was in a tag match last week on NXT or the week before. And now she's on the main roster. So, maybe it was the plan. Maybe it was, just how it happened. But I don't care.
You know what? Maybe the both of them, Stephanie and Julia, really didn't need that much time to learn what we're used to saying. Learn the American way of, or not the American way. Learn the WWE way of. How they film things, where the camera, this and that. But I mean, please, I thought they could have, one of them at least, or both, could have been AJ. They could have been AJ'd right to the main roster.
Right. But anyhow, speaking of WWE, we have this coming up. Next Saturday night, the 24th. And you can't
still
see
his
us,
childhood hero. Even though the WWE universe says he can't wrestle.
I don't. It's one of these things when they announced it, and I'm like, I have no idea why. No, I have no idea why this is happening. But to be honest, it's R-Truth and John Cena. And I really don't care. I'm just
it's like Dave said. You wanted the PG era back. You got the PG fucking era back, including R-Truth against Cena. But if if once he gets to the ring and then it turns and then the switch flips where you get a serious R-Truth realizing like this son of a bitch,
right? It's a great. It has potential to be a great story.
Is it gonna work? Is it gonna work if he pulls the goofiness like, oh my bad shit with the match? You know what I mean? Like
like I said, I don't know why they're doing this or doing this now, other than that they needed I guess a big event or a big match.
Why. It's the why they're doing it that we're asking, because we know we're gonna get a good match with Art. You know, we R-Truth is fucking fun. It's fun. He's friggin' funny. But this is serious now. Okay, you got put through a table. So now you got to look at it, character-wise. He was still a little bit out there with Corey, with Wade in the interview.
Yeah, and
we'll see.
All that. But, I mean, these are the 4 matches that we know so far. Obviously, we have R-Truth and Cena.
Uh-huh.
Logan Paul, your favorite, versus main event Jey Uso.
Yeah, he's so good, that son of a bitch. He's making me like him, and I hate that. Like, why do you have to be so good? I was able to say tip my hat to him with the wrestling.
Yeah.
But he's so good at getting natural fucking heat from the audience.
Yes, absolutely. And
so
for the fact
bring him there. Bring him there. Yeah. He's got my money if I'm gonna see Jay yeet all over his fucking face.
Yes, and absolutely. I think it's going to be a fantastic match.
Yes.
And just another kind of subliminal notch in Logan Paul's belt. That, you know what? Hey, I am doing this, and I deserve to be here, and I'm working, just as hard as any other quote unquote full-time wrestler to be in that spot.
And he is a full-time wrestler right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's as full-time as anyone else. So,
and coming off of SmackDown last night, we also have the now steel cage match between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. You got yet another absolute fire promo from Drew McIntyre leading into this. And I don't know if they're going to have a Damian Priest rebuttal, because they've been kind of going back and forth in promos. But again, here's 2 big, strong dudes ready to beat the hell out of each other. And I believe that's exactly what they're going to do in this cage match.
Those two are metalheads. So
yeah,
and they are so freaking awesome. Like they're on a whole nother. They're on a new level of confidence.
And then
power.
I'm honestly thinking right now, as good as Jey Uso and Logan Paul sounds like
that match.
I think the cage match is going to be the match of the night. That's going to be the match that we say, holy shit.
It will be.
And then, of course, the 4th one they announced already off of Raw this past Monday night, Sammy and CM Punk versus Rollins and Braun Breaker. And I'm going to go on a bit of a tangent for a second. I like it. I like the idea of a match that they're not, we have this new power trio, Heyman, Rollins, Braun Breaker. They're not hiding. So, they're just not cutting promos or doing, heel attacks from behind. They're very upfront saying, we're running this place, and if you don't like it, you're going to get run over and cast aside. And it's they're doing very heelish things against big baby faces right now, especially in CM Punk and Sami Zayn, probably 2 of the biggest baby faces in the company as far as fan reaction and fan support. What I still don't like is, and this is where WWE is dropping the ball. Why are we still singing Seth Rollins' stupid song.
Yep. And don't give them that spear. Don't give them that spear around the ring.
Yeah.
Take it away from them because they want it.
Yes. And they're expecting it. You know,
yes. When Bastard Pac was going up to the top rope to do his friggin' spectacular finishing move, and then he saw the audience wanted it, and he took it away from them.
Yeah, he just said,
take it away.
You know, and I will say, especially
they say get the table, you
Raw,
put the table right back underneath the ring.
Right. After Monday Night Raw, when and Seth came out and everybody started, and he's like, nah, we're not doing that. So they're making steps toward it, but for all this to work for me, you have to make it, you know, give us the reason to hate them or make them think that, you know, these are bad guys. Putting him against CM Punk and Sami Zayn absolutely goes far with that. But I don't know. I guess because there are so many other things going on right now in WWE. I'm not sure where this is going. But again, I have full confidence in Paul Heyman that, you know, it's going to be good and we're going to enjoy it and still have, you know, oh my God, and oh, I didn't see that coming moments and all that. So I have perfect confidence in it. I'm just liking the fact that Heyman has an innate ability to make younger talent legitimate.
Mm-hmm.
You know, going all the way back to he took a guy from Texas with huge size. His name was Mean Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Like he said in his own his Hall of Fame speech, he was the manager of Mean Mark. Put him with Danny Spivey, and they were the skyscrapers. But he took him behind his back to Bruce Pritchard, WWE, and that man is now forever the Undertaker.
Yep.
You had the Dangerous Alliance in WCW. Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, Larry Zbyszko,
Stunning Steve,
and some guy named Stunning Steve Austin. Sound familiar? Yeah, they became Stone Cold Steve Austin because he was brought in because Paul was like, we need a younger guy to fill out this group to get shine to. You know, we're seeing it now. What he did with the bloodline. He made stars out of the Usos, out of Solo Sikoa. You know, even added more to Sammy with Sammy's involvement in bloodline. You know, and now we're seeing it again with Braun Breaker.
You know, all the shit that people talked about Vince McMahon, but when Billy says Vince told him that guy over there, Roman Reigns, is going to put food on our tables for the next decade.
He was right. It was just about 10 years. It
wasn't bullshit.
You know, and we're
and you may have questioned, you know, I mean, hell, I remember like fucking exploding with the dog food shit and
it was
the Chihuahua stuff, and that was another favorite of ours back Corbin, Tom Pistak.
Not everything was a home run by any means. It wasn't even a foul ball, some of it, but you know. And there's another aspect. You know, everybody seems to be focused on what Cena is doing. And I guess rightfully so, because he is the champion right now. He took the belt from Cody.
He's ruining wrestling.
He is ruining wrestling as he is proclaimed. But you know, you have Roman you haven't heard from in a while. And the bloodline literally falling apart in front of him. You know,
well, you gotta wait because his name was in someone's mouth last night on SmackDown. So once someone's name is in your mouth, then
it's
you either get slapped and say keep his name out, that name out of your mouth.
And that's very interesting because that's the one thing
those are the little seeds that Heyman has planted has the talent plant
that's been kind of the WWE MO, especially now in the Paul
Easter eggs and seeds, baby.
Yeah, you know,
so much
little
fun.
Little bits here and there, little things that, you know, in the moment you're like, okay, whatever. But then they go away from it. But then a month or so later, then they bring it back, and you're like, oh, well, that goes back to what they did, or or something, or they go way back, like what they did with Heyman and Punk for WrestleMania with the main event, and brought back the actual video, the footage of Heyman saying, you were my best friend. You were going to main event WrestleMania one day. I'm going to be by your side when you do, blah, blah, blah. And, it's turned into what it's turned into. But, they do such a good job most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, of really just kind of connecting the dots and then, planting seeds out there to see what takes and what starts to sprout and grow and what doesn't. And they, it's constantly changing and moving. And that's really what makes it entertaining.
Yep.
Now
I wanted to start coming back. I understand sometimes you got to put it on simmer and put it on the back burner and let it simmer a little while, before you bring it back up to a boil. So
and
I'm waiting for it. Well, we got Jacob Fatu, because he's just so damn exciting. Like he didn't even have to come in the bloodline. They could have just brought in that guy.
Sure.
Because
it was an absolute obvious tie-in, but he could have absolutely stood on his own.
Oh, he's just and
I have a feeling he's going to.
Yeah.
I've always,
nobody that big is supposed to be that fast, and you know what I mean? When we see him and Braun Breaker start slapping fucking meat, that is going to be.
Well,
please.
I always take it back to, like we discussed when we were on Zoom watching these shows. What we're looking at is the quote unquote Anawa'i family cookout. About 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, after everybody has about 10 or 12 Coronas in them, all of a sudden the uncles start arguing and fighting. The next thing you know, it's mayhem. And that's
next
exactly
thing you know,
what
you think you're at an Irish funeral and you're at an Irish Christmas party and the Dropkick Murphys are playing.
Right.
It's Samoan. Mayonnaise and fucking Samoan, drop kicks and fucking
next thing who's going over the table, who's getting the potato salad thrown at them, and it's mayhem.
You're getting a Samoan backdrop, everything.
Somebody's getting hit with a flip flop, and
and don't hit anyone. No headshots because they don't work.
Right? Yeah, they're not hurting them. But
go for the bare feet. Go for the bare feet.
That's what all this feels like, and I'm here for it. It's going to be. I have a feeling that don't think the bloodline stuff is over, folks.
No, if you could bring it to an explosion between the family,
I don't think we're done, man. I honestly don't think.
No, we're definitely not. You know what it is, too? Don't forget, like they were saying today. Tama Tonga and Tongaloa are injured.
Right. Bring him, please.
Yeah. They're probably.
Please, WWE. I know you listen.
Getting Hikuleo a little extra
seasoning.
Seasoning. That of course,
even the world's strongest man.
When that big boy comes in and steps over the top rope from the floor, people are going to fucking.
Yeah. Yeah. And even
he's
Mark
as
Henry
big
said
as he's as big as Giant Gonzalez, except he can wrestle.
He can exceptionally wrestle.
He's strong.
And even Mark Henry said it today, man. Zilla Fatu.
Look, Mark Henry knows what he's talking about. He says there's 3 or 4 right there.
Yeah.
And Mark Henry said what I said too. And everyone says, no, they poo-poo on it. No, we don't want to start adding women. There are women that are part of that family.
Sure.
When is Nia going to say, you know what? I'm tired of getting screwed out of this shit. Where's my family? Why is it everyone? When is Naomi going to go, hey, mofos, man?
I'm paying, but I'm married into this.
Everybody always worried about someone else. You're always worried about this brother, this cousin, this fucking second, third cousin getting their ass beat down. What about me? What about Raven? What about me?
Oh God, let's not go there.
Did you ever? Hey, when in your ECW days, did you catch that Raven Tommy Dreamer battle?
I remember something.
A couple of matches?
Yeah, like
I think they had a feud back in the day.
Something like that. I mean, it really, honestly, never went anywhere. But
only one of the greatest stories ever told in wrestling.
Greatest wrestling stories.
Yeah, and I don't care if it bothers you. Anybody out there. Anyone in the Facebook group? Oh, Dave, stop talking about Rodney Dangerfield. Stop talking about wrestling from 1975. Stop that.
I honestly think that's that Facebook group gimmick. That's their gimmick. That they shit on, anything that's not wrestling.
Yeah, you know what? You want the rundown of all the results, man. Just look. They put it on the side of the screen. They scroll it on the side of the screen now. Yeah. You'll see it. Yeah.
All right, switching gears, because we have another show coming up next weekend as well, equally as big, if not bigger, and that, of course, is AEW live in Texas.
Things be heating up, bro.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. All In is in Texas. Double or Nothing is in Arizona.
Yes, thank you.
And starting off mainly with it's the finals of the Owen Hart tournament for this year, and you have Will Ospreay and Hangman Page. Who
is that in Phoenix, Arizona, or Phoenix?
Might be. I don't know if you say it phonetically, it's Phoenix, but
Phoenix.
Yeah, you have Hangman Page and Will Ospreay, who evidently can somewhat coexist after Dynamite this past Wednesday. And having a tag match. And, of course, the women's Owen Hart final, Jamie Hayter versus Mercedes Moné. The winner
who's a little bit lighter.
Now, besides winning...
Who's about 10 pounds lighter.
Yeah, we kind of saw that play out on AEW Dynamite as well. But, of course, the winners of these, besides being the Owen Hart tournament champion, respectively, also get a respective title shot. So you now have Will Ospreay and or Hangman Page facing potentially Jon Moxley for the AEW championship, and either Mercedes and or Jamie Hayter facing Timeless Toni Storm if she is still champion. And I say that because also at Double or Nothing, they announced Wednesday night that Mina Shirakawa, who is now All Elite, she has finished her time and contract obligations to Stardom, and evidently is quickly moving over and is now becoming a full-time AEW roster member. And
that's wild. I didn't know that. I didn't know she signed that.
Yeah. And it's kind of convenient that she won the match Wednesday night, that eliminator match with her, obviously Toni Storm, Anna Jay, and the girl that beat Mercedes for the New Japan Open women's openweight title. That I can't remember her name.
Well, if Ezra's out there, he'll remember. He'll know the name.
Yeah, Ezra, help me out. I know you know all of them. But yeah, and the fact that they even had her with the belt she just won from Mercedes out there, and they even tied that in at the end of the match because here comes Mercedes beating the hell out of her because she beat her. But in the short term, you have Mina Shirakawa, who is very popular with AEW fans and has grown quickly, is now getting her shot at Toni Storm at Double or Nothing. And I like that because it's strike while the iron's hot. Mina is now here full time. She's going to be a part of the roster. It's not necessarily hot shotting her because she has been involved in things. Yeah. She's involved in things.
But now for all intents and purposes, she's been here for a year. So
yeah.
I mean, we've seen her in
at
least what? At least 6 matches.
Yeah, and she was also part of a very good storyline, which was Storm and Mariah May. She was kind of like the third wheel love interest for a while, and that's just good fun for everybody.
She's still a Neil love interest.
Yes, very much so. Very, very much so. But the other part of coming out of Dynamite is we had the announcement. It's coming back for Double or Nothing, Anarchy in the Arena.
Mm-hmm.
I need a scorecard, a calculator, probably a slide rule, and a couple of pieces of paper and pencils to figure out who the fuck is actually in the match, because it seems like it's everybody, but we're having it. And the one part is you have what appears to be the Death Riders, and the Elite, the EVPs, and Okada, and I think that's it on that side, against the Ops, which is Will Hobbs, Mojo, and Shibata, Swerve Strickland. If Hook's healthy, remember Hook's.
They took Hook out. You're right.
But we know it's the Ops and Swerve Strickland, and for the first time, and this I think is really cool, and good job AEW, it will be intergender, because both Marina Shafir from the Death Riders and Willow Nightingale for the Ops and other team, they're going to be active participants, not just seconds in the ring. They are actually going to be in there and fighting right along with all the men for that. And I say, bravo.
Okay, Willow's going to destroy Wheeler Yuta. So
I hope so.
Off the bat, Willow is going to crush Yuta. And who's Marina going to go after?
If I would like, and you just mentioned it, but I would like to see
her. You know what? You know what? I would love to see Marina and Shibata go strong style against each other. How fucking awesome would you like that? Because we saw, don't forget GCW. We saw Marina Shafir against Speedball Mike Bailey. And
absolutely.
And they fucked each other up, man. That was, and you know how I feel. I'm not 100 with the intergender unless it makes sense to me, and unless the woman really can kick ass, Right. And I'm not saying
how about
not the rah women kick ass. I'm saying the woman herself kicks ass.
Yeah.
Gabby Forza, Marina Shafir. You got to be Willow.
Yeah.
Statland.
Legitimate. Yeah.
You got to be
legitimate,
that. Charlotte. You got. Yeah.
Women that are legit. But what about Marina and a returning now healthy Hook? I'd like to see that.
Boy, oh boy.
I'd like to see that happen.
See Hook snap that tiger suplex on it. Oh man.
It's and folks, it's not the Red Rum. It's not the Red Rum.
Will.
It's the Kata Hajime. Okay. Just remember that. If you don't know it, GFY, Google it.
And of course, we always look forward to the obligatory Samoa Joe walking out of the way of some schmuck dive.
You're the dope.
Yes.
That is officially called nope. Thank you, Chris Van Vliet.
Yeah.
We all learned that.
When Muhammad Ali invented the rope-a-dope, he's the nope-a-dope.
Yep. And that's what it is.
That's what we call it.
But I mean, Double or Nothing is shaping up, and now same thing with WWE going into Saturday night's main event. We're not there yet, so we still have. Well, you have Collision tonight, which is the second half of Beach Break going on in about 15 minutes or so.
Yeah. Let's not forget, Saturday night's main event is a
television show.
Exactly. People, please don't look at it like it's supposed to be a PLE, PPV, whatever the hell you want to call it.
Right.
It is a television show on Saturday night, and they're trying to go back the classic style, the music, the format, having Jesse Ventura with some of the a good commentary, sometimes corny, but the Jesse Ventura style, and it's great.
And even back when Saturday Night's Main Event was quote unquote first run, when they were doing them and schedule them, they were a big deal then, because you have to look at, you only had maybe 4 actual pay-per-views or live events a year. You had SummerSlam or Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, and Survivor Series.
And
that
Saturday
was
Night's Main Event was one that would set up what would evolve into the matchups for said pay-per-view.
And I'm going to date both of us real bad, Mike. But there was a time, kids, when wrestling wasn't on prime time. Wrestling wasn't on major networks.
That was a major thing. That, dude, they were this wasn't the days when there were 10 people watching Saturday Night Live. They were preempting Saturday Night Live for wrestling.
Yes. And
if you look at Collision, how Collision opens up and all that with the little, everyone has their vignette. Hey, I'm so and so. I'm going to kick you. I'm going to get you tonight. Right. Those are Saturday Night Main Event promos.
But
the opening of the show. That is where, and it's a reason why we like Collision.
And now I believe it's Saturday Night's Main Event's going to be a 2-hour television show, basically. So it's like watching a Raw or an old SmackDown per se, as far as format.
And the way they set it up, don't forget how they set it up old style. They put the guardrails with the same.
They bring the crowd in closer.
Yeah, the crowd's in closer. Yeah. So it's a different feel, which is cool. So it's not it's not the same old format. It's
right.
And it's good. It's fresh. So, I like it. But
don't be all ready to burn WWE down if it's not, it didn't do anything. It didn't do anything for the story. It's not really supposed to, folks. It's a good tie over. You may see something out of it.
Hence why you're getting, and that's why you're getting R-Truth against John Cena.
Right.
It doesn't have to be a title match. And it could just be a match where John Cena is going to get knocked around a little, and then,
could it be setting something else up since we're now on the next one being SummerSlam?
Maybe. Exactly. We're let's not expect anything big until SummerSlam. What else do we have? We have what? Money in the Bank coming up first? Before SummerSlam?
Money in the Bank. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yes, you have Money in the Bank coming up in end of May. Or end of June. We got
Money in the Bank, and then we'll have the little off PLE. The off.
Yeah, right. And kind of the same thing with AEW as well. I have been more than critical in the past of AEW and how they work their lack of story and all that. But I'm going to tell you what, they're figuring it out. They are absolutely figuring it out. It's not perfect, but it's wrestling and it's live and we're live, pal. And it never is. Pal. But they're doing a good job.
That damn briefcase.
I'm very interested. And Mike and I were talking before the show started. I'm with most of everybody. I don't know where or what the Death Riders are or supposed to be. However, though, I honestly think that part of the idea was never about the Death Riders doing whatever Moxley said that they were doing in his promos. They were going to revolutionize and change AEW and this and that and go on this reign of terror. I think the thing now is you legitimately have 6 or 7 male talent guys all jockeying and buying and making claims to take on Moxley for the championship. And that's the story. It's not that they have the title. It's who's going to take it off of Moxley. Who's the one that finally gets the briefcase and opens it and takes the belt out?
The real story is who the hell pays $30 for those Death Rider shirts?
Well, it's a white T-shirt with a. You could do the same thing with a white T-shirt and a
if
Sharpie.
there's only 5 of those printed and they're on the 5 members of the Death Riders,
well, but I honestly think going forward, that's going to be.
I'll say something positive about the Death Riders. Marina Shafir. That
anytime
I say, I don't care what she's doing. I don't care what I don't care how pissed off Moxley's making me with his stupid. I mean, Moxley with his vignettes. You know what? Anyone who ever made fun of the Ultimate Warrior, F you. This guy is putting the Ultimate Warrior vignettes to shame. And I love the Warrior. I don't love Moxley's vignettes.
Hey,
the Warrior's vignettes worked me up.
Maybe it'll come out 5 years from now that Cena and Moxley were secretly in cahoots and both wanted to ruin wrestling for everybody. Who knows? Who's to say?
The conspiracy theory?
Who's to say?
Listen. The only thing stupider that could happen is if a doctor comes out and has to give Moxley a bunch of shots in his ass to keep him from getting sick from the audience.
Well, like I said, I think the story going forward out of all this isn't so much what the Death Riders have done or are doing. It's legitimately who's going to be the.
I'd rather have Seth Rollins laugh on loop than listen to Moxley's vignettes anymore. Whatever he talks about, I'd rather hear Seth Rollins just go in my ear for like an hour. I'd take that.
Well, like I said, I think the story going forward with them is who's going to emerge out of this very crowded field of guys that can legitimately have a shot and a claim to take out Moxley. Could it be Will Ospreay? Could it be Hangman Page? If either one of them win the Owen,
just here's a little advice for TK. No hymns. Take hymns. Take the little. Hold out. Don't prematurely ejaculate this story. You
don't have to put it. You got to keep some in the condom.
Freaking story, because if I turn around and I sneeze and all of a sudden, it's Will Ospreay has this thing with Moxley. No, make it something. If it turns out to be so and so, either it's going to be Hangman, it's going to be Ospreay. Okay, I think we could get a story with Hangman. Okay, that they got history. But if it turns out to be Ospreay because, hey, we have to put a title on him because he's the most popular guy. If he had a belt across his shoulder, around his waist, he's the face of AEW for a decade.
In my opinion, he's the face of it now when he doesn't even
He is.
He has a quote-unquote lesser title.
He came such a long way, didn't he, man?
You have, but here, just look at that kind of crowded field. You have MJF, who now hurts people. Finally got the 3 thumbs up.
Yes. And what's going on with that?
And right where
and with MJF, you still wait for the other shoe to drop. You're waiting for the shoe to
But
because at the end of the day, hey, we're gonna help you. We have the tag belts. We're gonna help you get that Triple B back for you.
Right.
But hey, that thumb up you got from Bobby Lashley is gonna go right up your fucking ass in a heartbeat.
Yes.
And that thumb's gonna hurt.
That to me,
it's gonna hurt because he ain't gonna stop with the thumb. He's gonna rip your heart out through your asshole and make you watch it fucking beat the last 5 beats. That's Lashley.
Yes, and as frustrated and
not
just
Bob,
kind of
not Bob.
But that's
you
great.
are gonna annoy.
Dude, that's fantastic. That is great.
I don't know
MJF.
what. I
just pure MJF.
When I think of MJF calling him Bob, what was the character in Mortal Kombat that ripped your head off and the whole spine came out too? And you saw the spine dripping. That's what Bobby Lashley can physically do that to any human being.
Sure. But that's
not even break a sweat.
That's the story.
He will be lighting a cigar with the other fucking hand.
On one hand, you're looking at like, okay, MJF did this to because he has his own agenda. But on the other hand, you have 3 legitimate badass dudes that absolutely can fuck anybody up at any time if they even feel like it without much effort. And
even the guy walking with the cane is legit.
Yes.
The guy was just in the ring with Josh Barnett a few months ago. Damn it!
And they're gonna do it again.
Don't sleep on MVP either. The guy was in a movie over a decade ago where they were saying, "Yeah, he's on his last matches. He's on his last legs. Hey, I'm on the back end of my career."
And that's
this.
So the AEW.
It is working out great, though, John. It is.
It is working.
We have our complaints about both, and if I'm going to say anything, AEW is on the upswing.
Yes, like I said originally, they are
hot.
Yeah,
the crowd being hot.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely took the advice about getting, smaller venues and getting more intimate because you hear it. You hear it. And once in a while, I do what Bully says. I don't watch the screen. I just listen.
Yeah. As you know, and everyone else knows, I was at Collision in Atlantic City. Thank you, Andre. Thanks for the hookup.
Andre rules.
Yes.
We love you, bro.
And where we were at was Boardwalk Hall. It was a theater inside Boardwalk Hall. Smaller venue, obviously. Boardwalk Hall is about the size of a basketball arena. A little smaller, holds about 10,000, 12,000. If they had it in there, it would have been totally lost. But the smaller venue, the Wayland Theater, was about, I think capacity on it's about 3,000, give or take 3,500. Dude, almost sold out. Saw very few empty seats. Crowd was into it, hot the entire time. Everybody was involved, engaged in it. It was a really, really good time live. And I'm hoping that it came across on TV because it really was. Like I said, they're figuring it out. They are absolutely. They're playing. It's the whole point.
We get
play
impatient.
The strengths.
We get
impatient. The positives. Yeah. Accentuate the positives.
If we're gonna rag on anything, John, if I'm gonna get you started at in the last 30 seconds before we get the F out of here and watch Collision is do something with ROH. Don't make it a glorified. Don't make it a glorified. Dark.
One last thing I do want to mention, though,
it's not AEW Dark.
Yeah.
Damn it! Come on,
I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not going to take the bait. Just like I didn't tell John Bay to GFY the whole show, I'm not going to take the bait and get into an ROH rant with you right now.
And John, you know what? I'd be satisfied if we didn't see 1 or 2 certain referees in the ROH side. I'd even be happy with that.
That is a show all into its own.
Yes,
honestly.
And but John, one last thing. Did you ever see a cage match where you grab the rope from a chokehold?
I don't want that. No? That has been killed to death. I want to forget that cage match. Simple. That cage match was a really, really wrong way to go to set up anarchy in the arena, and it was like you said pre-show. It was really good until it wasn't.
It got
until it wasn't. And the ending of that.
That's not to diminish. Wait, that's not even to diminish Gabe Kidd because, my God.
Tony
Khan did not have to be a surprise. He could have said, Gabe Kidd is all elite.
Yes,
and that would have been enough for all of us.
Well, he's not.
Are we all marks for that guy or what?
Well, he's not all elite because I believe he's still under contract at New Japan. But
so this is going to be.
I would have rather seen the famous Tony Khan lights on, lights off, lights on.
Okay, yeah.
Other than what they did, because
not the briefcase. Right. Yeah, I still, I'm of the belief of, if it's a cage match, the people locked in should be the ones locked in.
Yes.
And that's a rule for me. And the second rule is if I get my head scraped on a steel fucking fence cage, I'm gonna bleed. I know I'm gonna bleed.
You know,
I reach under a desk or something. I hit a little thing, and I'm bleeding. So, when someone gets their head scraped on a steel cage, please bleed like Moxley.
All right. Well, we're unsupervised and we're a skeleton crew, so we're gonna go over. I want to talk real quick because they had 2 guests on, or 3 guests on 4, and that's the NWA Crockett Cup that is basically starting almost
right about now.
Yeah, over at the infamous 2300 Arena. It's the ECW Arena, folks. It always has been.
It's not 2300.
It always has been. It always will be. I don't care who owns it, who owns the right. It's the ECW Arena. It's at the same place, the corner of Swanson and Rittner in beautiful South Philadelphia.
WWE obviously owns the rights to the name ECW.
Right.
But do they own the rights to the phrase EC Dub?
I have no idea.
I would, John, if we hit the Powerball, well, first of all, we'd have to pony up $1 a piece to actually play it.
Right.
But
right.
If we actually played the Powerball and won it, buy the 2300 Arena and rename it, redub it the EC Dub.
I would pay for the rights to have it forever to be called the
EC Dub Arena.
Yeah. But the Crockett Cup is going on, and surprisingly, and I guess this is just how the NWA does it. No streaming, no pay-per-view, no nothing. It's all being taped for later episodes of their show Power that's on the CW app, I believe. Still,
it's on Twitter. It's on Twitter.
On Twitter. I'm sorry. Yes,
6:05 on Mondays.
And again, you want to talk about wrestling being wide open and everybody doing anything, and they don't really show it on the poster. But if you look at this closely, you will see a very familiar face on it. And that is one, Natty Neidhart. Yeah, Natalia. Yeah, that Neidhart. That one that lit up everybody at Bloodsport. She's facing Kenzie Page.
I got to tell you something. That picture didn't have Natty on there, but we all know Natty's on there.
Right.
Bring that picture up. Why doesn't it have Natty Neidhart on there?
I don't know.
Wait
this is from their social media. But anyway,
there you go. And there you go.
And I'm sorry if you didn't catch the last segment of Busted Open on Friday with David Bully and the interview that Kenzie Page did. Man, find it, seek it out, see the clip on YouTube. Man, that girl is 23 years old.
That little
She's been
lady,
wrestling since she was 16, and she came across like $1 million. If that girl,
and there's a wrestling family too, family too, right? Not only her sister Kylie, but also her mom and dad were wrestlers too, weren't they?
But man, she came across like a champion, and
unreal.
Absolutely.
When you with the question, Bully does not throw softball questions.
Yeah. It's some
and when he
interview.
asked her specific questions, the answers that this young woman came up with,
right?
I don't even know if seasoned people can come up with answers that cogent and make me want to put my ass in the seat.
Like Bully
said, made me want to put my ass in the seat for her.
Yes.
And that young woman yelled at me too. And I didn't forget that. I didn't forget it, Kenzie. Yes. I have much respect for you, but you did yell at me. You picked on me.
And in this age of, kayfabe and all that and everything, one thing that she did, now going into this, regardless of the stake of the thing, does Kenzie Page do anything against Natty Neidhart? No. But you know what she did in that 20 or so minutes? She fucking made me believe in her that she may or may not win, but it's not going to be just some kind of half-ass squash match. This
she
girl
is
is
gonna
ready.
gain Natty's respect.
Yes.
I believe the whole thing is not even about a title or anything like that with Natty.
Right.
Can she? Absolutely. Would we be surprised seeing Natty Neidhart walk in on Monday Night Raw wearing
And then
the NWA
wearing the Burke.
Wearing the Burke around her waist?
And
Absolutely, I would not be surprised. I would be elated.
Yeah, there's absolutely
Equally, will I be surprised if Kenzie shows up and shows out and takes it to Natty?
Well,
absolutely not.
As we heard on Friday, if Kenzie wins tonight and defends her title, they want her back on Busted Open on Monday.
That woman went through Max the Impaler, pillar to post, and from corner to corner of every building.
Yes,
she could take a beating. She's a tiny person. Yes.
Yes.
But she's got. You know what? You know what it is?
She made me believe.
The tenacity that Roxanne Perez has. That's what Kenzie Page and Kylie have.
Yes.
Kylie's a little younger, yes, but Kenzie is that I can't listen. Who are we? She was put over to the moon by one Bully fucking Ray.
Yeah,
that man does not. That man does not put somebody over. That man does not put his hand out to other talent unless they deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely. So
John,
we went long. They're gonna yell at us. So
it's all right. We actually didn't go that long.
Hey, they shouldn't leave us unsupervised.
Right now, Megan Bain is destroying Anna Jay, and you know,
great ass. Anyway, Mike, tell the folks how to connect and interact with you on the social medias.
At Mongrovia Mike on X, on Instagram. Leave me alone on Facebook. That's where that's where we all talk with family. I don't even bother too many wrestlers on Facebook. I let them be their private selves there.
And stay off his lawn.
I know this guy Max Tyler. Max Tyler, says I might know him, but I'm leaving him alone.
Yeah, well, anyway.
Him and this guy Brian Myers. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, John.
Never mind.
Let's go Mets, baby. Let's go Mets.
Hey, man, my Phils are on
a
roll.
Win.
The Phils bats finally woke up again. But we'll see. It's still a young season. Still a lot of baseball to play. But anyway, I am, of course, at Twisted Metal Fab on the Instagram and the Twitter. And, of course, as always, as we found out today, we are everywhere with the hashtag Nation's Corner on location. Let us know where you're at.
Forever.
Yes.
Forever. Always.
Hashtag Nation's Corner on location. Let us know where you're at, who you're seeing, who you're liking. Send us picture, videos. Let us know what shows you're at. And
well wishes out to our buddy Front Row.
Yes, under the weather, the men's.
Under the weather, he's been indisposed. He's,
I just think he got his throat operated on to make his beautiful velvety voice.
I heard he's a secret hostile witness in the P Diddy trial, but that's just
don't believe
anything.
That's rumor. That's
rumor and innuendo. That is not true. Don't believe a word you read. I don't care how slick he looks with baby oil. He does look very slippery sometimes, but that's another point.
What is not rumor and innuendo? Rumor and innuendo is absolute fact. We all know the most dangerous weapon in professional wrestling is the AK-9K, the Ass Kicker 9K. Has been booked.
Really, there's an upsurge of prosthetic.
Yes.
The prosthetic
with the original
prosthetic posse is out there.
And AK-9K came to me and said, sometimes you got to remind MFers of just who the MF you are. And then with that being said, thanks to my good friend, one American Kaiju, Lindsay Jane Snow, AK9K is going to Florida, ladies and gentlemen, for a death match later on in June, being promoted and partially booked by Lindsay Snow to participate in a Fans Bring the Weapons match. So
did you happen to unleash AK9K to the AEW champ, the All-Star Wrestling champ, Cade Lothbrok?
Well, there is video. There is video out there. I can neither confirm nor deny that at the last Atlantic All-Star Wrestling show, AK9K did have a prominent role in a few matches, but I will let the video speak for itself. It is out there. Check Atlantic All-Stars social medias. There is video evidence, and congratulations to the Asgardian Beast, Cade Lothbrok, who is now your Atlantic All-Star Wrestling champion.
We got Lucha, right? Mm-hmm. Who else was there? There was someone else I thought I heard that also.
You just had Zach Gowen on.
Zach Gowen. Why don't
was on Dynamite.
Listen,
this past Wednesday.
You heard of 3MB? How about 3LB, the three-leg band?
Hey, anything is possible these days. Absolutely anything.
Why not?
But anywho, we're missing Collision, and so are you. So, for Mongroby and Mike, I am John of South Jersey. Thank you all for joining us tonight on the Nation's Corner. Big week of wrestling coming up. Big wrestling next weekend. And as always, we will see you later.